Punk revolution now. Punk revolution now. Okay. Today I'm going to review American Football. American Football by American Football. Not their first album, but their third album, released in 2019, like a month ago. American Football has released 3 albums. This is their third. Obviously, all 3 of them are called American Football. So American Football, American Football, American Football. Yeah, you might know them for their first album, released in 1999, I think it was. It's a freaking emo classic. This band, American Football, is a freaking cornerstone of emo because their extremely influential debut album titled American Football. Just fantastic guitar work and instrumentation, emotional vocals. If you want to explore the genre of emo, math rock, post rock, you need to check out American Football's first album. And this is their third album, released about 20 years later. So I was certainly interested to see what is American Football up to now 20 years later after their classic debut, which, you know, I'm a big fan of their debut, so I was definitely interested to see what they're up to nowadays. And it's a good album. I'm just going to tell you, you can X out of the review right now because I'm telling you it's good. Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of bands that are successful, that were big in like the 90s or beforehand, a lot of their comeback albums where they just release another album like 20 years, 30 years later, they tend to be a little bit mediocre. They tend to be not that good, and a lot of people don't like them because they might ruin the legacy of an artist who has an otherwise perfect discography, and then they release this Well, with American Football, they didn't do that. This is actually an excellent addition to their discography. Not only does it show that they're first off that they released a freaking classic emo album, but they're capable of doing more than that. They're capable of exploring with some different sounds and different genres, still sounding like it's still American Football that we love so much, but just this album is just so pretty. It's just so beautiful. It's dream pop. Their first album is like math rock, emo, post-rock. This album, it's still got elements of that in it. It's still American Football, but it's freaking dream pop, and it's freaking cool. It's freaking dream pop. If you want an emo dream pop album, you should check this one out because it's freaking cool. It's just such a pleasant listen. It's just so pretty. It feels so good on the ears. Just all these beautiful guitar tones and just beautiful vocals, and so yeah, it's a great album. It's just, what I like about it so much is just, well, like, kind of what I already said, it's just how pretty it is, how beautiful it is. Like, yes, their first album, their debut, is really beautiful as well, but, you know, it's a little bit more like, the first album's a little bit more emotionally intense, it's a little bit more, you know, it's pretty, it's like pretty, but pretty and intense. This album is like pretty, but like pretty and like chill. Like, you can do your homework listening to this album, and it just sounds so good. They've definitely matured. It's really a sweet thing to see how they've matured, both in terms of like instrumentation. They're kind of like a little bit more mellowed out, and like vocals and like lyrics, just everything about them sounds more mature. So good job, American Football, on releasing a comeback album that is a freaking fantastic addition to your discography. I loved the features of female vocalists, including Hayley Williams of Paramore. Pretty interesting feature on their song Uncomfortably Numb, which is, in my opinion, probably the most catchy song on this album. Freaking awesome song. That's the thing, it's like chill but catchy. And what's better than listening to an album that's chill and catchy? That's the beauty of dream pop, really. And it's freaking American Football doing dream pop. And they got this like one like female vocalist. I don't know who the vocalist is, but she sings in French. I think it's French, and it just sounds so good. It's just so satisfying. Like, this whole album is just so satisfying to listen to. It's just I think some people might find it a little bit boring if you're not into these genres, you know, because it is it's very pretty and mellow and chill and beautiful, and some people that might try and translate to just like, okay, this is kind of boring. But for me, I just feel like there's a lot going on in this album that there's a lot going on in this album that prevents it from being boring. Lots of, ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's this feature? Ooh, what's this guitar line? Ooh, what's this vocal melody? It's just, there's a lot. It's just like, ooh, this is like post rock. It's like post rock now. It's like post rock dream pop. So if you're interested in mathy emo dream pop with post rock influences. I think that sounds pretty sick to me. If you're interested in that, you should check this album out. Another fantastic 2019 album you need to check out, Punk Revolution, now.